I'm ready to introduce, I'll put that in the chat for volunteering. Thank you. The speakers are Karen Cafenteriat. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce her last name. Cafenterius and Diane Bright. And they will go ahead and introduce themselves and give you a brief bio, and then proceed with this class that we're all excited about. So thank you, Karen, and thank you, Diane.
Welcome.
Thank you, Lisa. I am Karen Cafenteras, and I work for the AARP Michigan State Office as Associate State Director. Getting messages here on my screen. And I want to welcome you today. We're excited to be here for a presentation of our HomeFit program. I have been with AARP since 2001, and I am the co-creator of this HomeFit program. I created it along with an occupational therapy professor from Western Michigan University. And I'll share a little bit about her adventures and why she was interested in doing this program a little bit later. And I lead the AARP Michigan Livable Communities work and age-friendly work. And Diane Bright, I'm going to ask Diane to introduce herself. She's one of our occupational therapy volunteers and executive council members.
Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Diane Bright. I'm an occupational therapist by background. My first degree is occupational therapy. The second one is international degree from University of Salford, and it's an access and inclusive design in the built environment. So that has to do with anything and everything that's built. So cities, homes, factories, whatever. But it gives me a different perspective on how things are done. I learned how things were done in different countries when I went to school there, which you'll see kind of applied to making design just darn good. And that's what we have to look at when we look at our houses. I've been an occupational therapist for over 30 years. I won't say how many more. And that's exactly what I do with my own business. My business Alliance Therapy goes to people's homes and makes sure that we can redesign them. Mostly here in Michigan, it was based on people who have been catastrophically injured. So taking the home that they lived in and allowing them to continue to live in their home and not have to move or change lifestyles. So Karen and I have been working together on this for a long time. And we truly enjoy being in Idaho. I can now say that I've been there.
That's right. There you go. We've been since the pandemic started, we've been all over the country. From probably every corner of the state, basically.
Right.
Or the country, sorry. So excellent. So welcome. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Give me a second. And of course, I've got to do something a little different here because I can't see to start the slideshow. And turn off that. Oop, not that, that. All right. Can everybody see? Hopefully everybody can see the slides now.
Yep.
All right. So welcome to the HomeFit Workshop. I want to share with you that how we're going to do questions. So at any time, we have such a small group that we will take questions that are related to content that we're talking about during it. So Diane will watch for questions coming in via chat during when I'm presenting, and then when Diane's presenting, I will be looking for questions in the chat and bring those up as they come in. So feel free to ask things anytime, and then we will have some time at the end too for additional questions that we haven't gotten to. So the main goal of the HomeFit Workshop is to help you stay in the home you currently live in for as long as is safely possible. So we're not talking about as long as you are adamant about staying there if it's not safe. We want you to be safe, and we want you to be aware that there may be a time when it's not safe for you to live there. So keep that in mind. I have a almost 95-year-old mother who still lives independent in her own home. And when I first developed this program, and she came to one of the workshops, it was back in 2010, and she was totally like, I don't need that kind of stuff. But over time, she has incorporated some of the things that she's needed to. So as things have happened, and she's needed things, like when she broke her foot, she had to incorporate some of the things to be able to stay in her home. So if we were in person, I would have handed you out all a HomeFit guide. But since we're not in person, I'd like to tell you how to get the HomeFit guide. So you go to aarp.org/HomeFit. And there are three things you can do. You can request a copy be sent to you via email, gives you the link for that. You can download it and read it off your screen, or you can download it and print it. I will tell you, it is 36 pages long. So it is a lot to print, and it is color. So you may not want to actually download it and print it. But we will send you a copy for free. So one of the things that we want you to do while we're going through this presentation today is we want you to think about your current home, the home you currently live in, and what are things that you can do that we're showing you ideas for in your current home to be able to stay there, which I know most of you, as we went through, that's why you were here. You want to know, what is it that I can do to overcome the obstacles that might occur as I age. And then think about what is important to you. What activities do you do in your home that are important to you? And how do you continue to do those, even though you might not do those exactly the same way? You may have to modify where you do those. So things like, if you really are passionate about sewing and you're sewing areas upstairs, or you're really passionate about woodworking and all of your things are in the basement, how do you keep doing those things if you can't easily access the area? We're going to talk about a little bit about universal design and what that means. We're going to do a home tour, basically. We're going to start from the outside of your home, or a home, not your home, but a home. And we're going to go up any steps that you might have. How do you get through the front door? And then through all the different areas of your home. So that is basically our agenda. Now, I'd like everyone to use chat and tell us, what is it, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word home? What does home mean to you? So for example, I'll give you my, a little while ago, my husband said, homes are selling like crazy for over the asking prices. And he said, what do you think about moving? And my gut reaction was, I do not want to move. I'm in a place where I'm comfortable, has all my treasured memories. It's safety, it's sanctuary, it's all these positive feelings. So what does home mean to you? Sandy says comfort.
What does home mean to you?
To me?
Yeah.
So if you put in chat for us, what does it mean to you?
A sacred space.
Sacred
That's
space.
very
Excellent. Yes.
Lisa.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share? There's only 14 of us, so comfortable, safe from falling. Excellent.
Safe. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Comfort, security, neighbors. Yeah, people you know. Yep, that provides some security too, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. As more of you are thinking about sharing, we will move on. Now, some of the things that we talk about, close my chat here. Some things we talk about today cost some money. So most things we try to give you a lower cost, a moderate cost, and a higher cost option. But some things will cost. For example, a stair lift or chair lift, however you want to call those can run into thousands of dollars. But we want to share with you, what if what was keeping you from being able to stay in your home is stairs, right? So, and it might cost a few to several $1,000s, but going to an independent or assisted living facility is not cheap either. Genworth Financial, which you can find, the numbers are here are sort of a national average. I know that in Michigan, some of these numbers are a little higher and some of them are a little lower, but for assisted living nationally, the average is $4,300 a month, or over $51,000 a year. Nursing homes are almost twice that if you want a private room, a little less than that for a semi-private room. And independent and assisted living facilities are close to the same cost, interestingly. So, and then there's adult daycare. So if you look at, say, even if you move to an independent living or assisted living facility for about $4,000 a month, that's a lot that you can do in your home and have help come in if you need to have help come in. So keep that in mind, and before, when you have a gut reaction that, oh, that's really expensive. So we're going to talk about a little bit about universal design, and it's a term that might sound technical, but it really relates to a very simple concept, which is an approach Diane knows very well from her work, but designing products and environments to accommodate all people, no matter what their age or their ability, whether they have a physical, cognitive, or sensory impairments. So being able to design for across the span of a lifetime. You might also hear, when people talk universal design, you might hear the term visitability, which is really just a home that has at least one no-step entrance and a half bath that is accessible for wheelchairs and walkers. So we want you to keep those two terms in mind. And I was recently doing some research, doing a presentation for Women's History Month at the end of this month on our founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus. And I discovered that, I knew this a little bit, but I discovered that she was really at the forefront of universal design. Before universal design was a term, she was working with architects to design homes that had no step entrances and grab bars and wider hallways and all those elements. And she actually had a couple of those homes built for people to see and show them that, these did not look like, in industrial type things. So I want to ask you to share again in the poll, or in the chat with us, about what are the things, what in your home do you think is most likely to keep you from being able to stay there? Is it stairs and steps, so stairs up to your front, or steps up to your front door, or stairs to a second floor or the basement? Is it having a bathroom that's accessible to a walker or wheelchair? Is it having all your bedrooms on the second floor, or maybe it's a bathroom? The only bathrooms on the second floor. I know in the area where I live, the pre-World War II homes are all smaller homes and the one bathroom, and it's on the second floor. So tell us in chat, if you will, what do you think will possibly keep you from being able to stay there? And as you do that, we're going to go ahead and move on. Here we go. Can the doorway accommodate?
Doorways.
Yep. Anybody else want to share?
Stay tuned.
Yep. So you can bring those up, Diane, as we're going.
Okay.
Where are we here? Okay. All right, so we're going to start at the entrance of the home. Now, ideally, if all was great in the world and we built homes that were homes for a lifetime from the very from the beginning, we'd have a no-step entrance like this is. And this is a home in DeWitt, Michigan, not too far from where I'm at. And it is, you know, a very comfortable ranch style home, but it has both its front door and the side door and the door from the garage are all no step, meaning you just open the door, walk right in, there's no obstacle. And this allows all ages to get into the home easily. So whether you're using wheel mobility like a walker or wheelchair, whether you are like my daughter when she was 22, 23, broke her ankle and had to move home for 3 months. She, you know, we had 3 steps up to our front door and our back door. So she had to navigate those steps. And when you're on one leg with crutches, it's a scary thing going up and down those steps. So she would have to sit down and go up or down and on her butt. And all the bedrooms on the second floor, but that was a better alternative than the 3rd floor walk up that she lived in the suburbs of Detroit at the time. So good for a person, older adult with wheel mobility, good for a 23-year-old who breaks their ankle, good for a mom with a stroller with a child. Just open the door and walk right in. You don't have to deal with all those steps, or a grandparent with a child in the stroller. So John says that he thinks stairs to the basement, stairs to the front door, back deck, doorways, and bathrooms are too small. We will talk about all those things. So it'd be ideal, like I said, if you could do this from the beginning. However, most of us, if you are someone who lives in a detached single-family home who has a no-step entrance, put that in the chat for us. So we're going to talk a little bit about options to get you into your home. So this is an example of walker steps, and I'm actually going to move to the next slide because this is a real life, not just a drawing, but this is a real life example of walker steps and a little easier to see what these are. So walker steps are 4 inches high versus the typical 8 inches high that a normal step is, and they're 22 inches long. So long enough to accommodate a walker to be placed on it, and then you to take the step up to that step. And then
Karen, they're also usually that wide in case you need somebody next to you or behind you to assist you up the stairs too. So if you notice, if you're looking at this and you think the walker would fit in the middle, look at that somebody would be over to one side or the other, and another body could be on the step as well to help out.
Yeah. And we typically, whenever we talk about steps and stairs, we really want you to have the railing come all the way down to past the last step to the ground level. This was designed this way specifically because it's in a garage, and where the cars, how the cars pulled in, they wanted it set up this way. So typically we would say, make sure those railing come all the way down to the ground level. But you can see there that up by the door, it's just, you just walk in. So, but I want to show you, this is a much easier way to see what this is versus the picture. There's also the option of a ramp. So ramps can be permanent ramps. They can be temporary ramps. So a permanent ramp, whether they're permanent or temporary, then you need to remember to see if you have space for a ramp, is that for every 1 inch that the bottom of your door is off the ground, you have to have 12 inches of length for the ramp. So a 10-foot, if you're 10 inches off the ground, you have to have a 10-foot ramp. And so if you're someone who has 3, 4, 5 steps up to your door, that's a pretty long ramp. That can be done with switchbacks if needed, if you have the room. but it's a pretty long ramp to get you up that high.
And the other thing to remember about ramping is if you look at the, especially the black ramp, you can see it a little bit better, that you need a landing at the door. So the ramp doesn't, it's just not something that is put from the door straight down, you know, as a runner, let's say that 10 feet. You need a turnaround space at that entryway. That's your no step entry. So the ramp actually begins after that 5 by 5 foot landing that you see at the front door. That allows you to turn or someone to be with you if you need it, and get to the door. And also when you're coming out, to be able to turn around to close the door, and you're not on a slope as you exit the ramp. If you can imagine the ramp coming at you at this point, let's say instead of down the side of the house, it's coming straight out. You'd build up a lot of speed by the time you got down there, you know, coming out the door, and then the door would be wide open when you got down to the bottom of the ramp. You do need that little bit of a porch.
So the middle one, that's a temporary ramp. There has been a boom in companies that rent these temporary ramps. So if you're in a situation where you need a ramp, but you may not need it for that long, you can often find companies that rent them. On the far right is a threshold ramp. So as we get to the no step ramp, there is no height between where the floor of the entrance is and walking through that door. The threshold ramp will take you if there's sometimes a little bit of a lip. Could be just 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, which you can get over with wheel mobility, like a wheelchair or walker. But higher than that, you're going to need something to help you get over that ramp or that step. So a threshold ramp will fit that bill. And a threshold ramp, they're fairly inexpensive. They basically come in 2 kinds. One is sort of an aluminum metal that screws into the landing, the porch, to secure it. You always want to make sure that it's a little bit wider than your door frame, so that if you're in wheel mobility and you don't go exactly straight down, you don't fall off and tilt off the edge. They also come in a really a rubber type mat, which when we first put this together, I went online and I bought one thinking, well, I had one of the Michigan volunteers built me an example of a door, which you'll see a little bit later. So I bought one of these threshold ramps thinking I'll take the door and I'll take the threshold ramp to the events and show people. And this threshold ramp, the rubberized one, is so heavy that I don't take it anywhere because it's just too much of a nuisance. So that's not going anywhere, the rubberized one. That's my point. Also, for the things of steps, if you have a lot of steps, 4, 5, 6, I don't know how many steps this is, but a lot, you can use a vertical platform, right? So this is basically an outside elevator. In colder places like Michigan, Idaho, that gets snow, you would have to get the cold weather package that provides a canopy for it. But basically, what you do is you wheel in there in the walker or the wheelchair. You close the door. You press the button. It takes you up to the top level, and then that door will open, and you can go out onto the landing and through the door. Any of these things, whether it's a ramp, the walker steps, the platform, the vertical platform, they could be at any entrance to your home. They could be at the front door. They could be at the garage. They could be at a side door. They could actually be at a deck, the back deck. So don't limit yourself to where you locate your no-step entry if you need one. The other thing to remember about these vertical platform lifts is they have to be installed by a professional, by an actual elevator company. So there is a cost to that. And all these these that we talk about today, I don't want to say this so I don't forget to say it later. There's a huge resale market for these things. So this type of thing, you may or may not want to buy used, but they're out there used. And they're often refurbished by the company that originally made them. And then the person no longer needs them. And it's sold back to the company. The companies often have buyback programs. So they buy it back and then they refurbish it and they resell it.
Yes. Mhm.
The one thing before we go on, we redid this presentation at the end of last year, and the one thing that didn't make it into the new presentation, which is too bad, is that you could also create this no-step entry using landscaping if you don't have too many steps, and depending on how much of a front yard you have. So you would basically create a sloped entry, sort of a long ramp, but it would, and then using landscaping, you would not be able to necessarily tell. You could see it was sloping, but you wouldn't necessarily know that there was ever not a front, the door over steps there. So in our old presentation, we had a great slide that showed a before and after of that, and it didn't make it into this one. So now we're going to look at the exterior of your home as in terms of some other safety features, which are making sure that you have large numbers for your address that are displayed on your home. And the reason for this is safety. We want to make sure that if you have any emergency vehicles that are coming to your home, that they can find you easily. So illuminate is great too, but make sure that they're large and visible. Also, having at least one outside light outside your door that you don't have to get on a ladder or step stool to change. So something that's reachable without having to change the light bulb is important. You can see at this home, there is a bench next to the front door. Great idea if you have room for it, so that you can put down whatever might be in your hands. This is the front door and the back door, it doesn't matter which door, but whatever's in your hand in order to open that front door. You can see that there's a lever handle, which is easier to use than the kind of round knobs that you have to grip and turn. Often as we get older, sometimes your small motor movements that you need in order to grip and turn a knob become more difficult. So the lever handle is a push down and generally a pull towards you or a push away from you. You can do it with a hand. Often you can do it with an elbow if you need to. So it makes it easier, not just if we're having some, trouble with arthritis and something like that, but for when you're bringing your arms full of groceries or other packages. You'll notice that this door here has a peephole. So the peephole is not a typical thing in your everyday home, but they're not that hard to have installed. Always a good idea for safety. If you don't have like a pane of glass or window near your front door to be able to see who you're opening the door to. And we'll talk a little bit later about some of the newer technology, but it looks like there's a video doorbell also on this home. Also good to remember is to have outdoor lighting. If you have a walkway up, if you can, there's lots of solar powered lighting that you can install along your walkway for it to be safe. All right. So let me do another poll if people would share. Does anybody who is on the call today, or on the Zoom call today, do you have any smart home devices, like an Alexa? Can't say it too loud because I have one. She starts talking to me as soon as you say Alexa. Or when there's a commercial on the TV that uses that name. Or a video doorbell or any of that kind of thing. Let us know if you have any of that in your home and what you have. So Lisa has a Ring doorbell.
Ring doorbell with the camera.
So as you're sharing with us, let's talk a little bit about the things that are available in the smart home features. So a couple of years ago, someone got me a little something Google Home thing,
Nest.
and it kept. No, it wasn't. It was.
Was it a
It was
Nest?
no, it wasn't. But it was an
Echo?
early version. It was an early version, and I swear to you, that thing every night, my husband and I sat down to dinner and started talking, and it started talking to us, and it really freaked us out. So we got rid of it. We give it to our daughter. But your smart home, device can turn on and off your TV, can help you dial into video calls. I now have, and I think it's an Echo, and you can make video calls on it. I could be cooking in the kitchen, which is where it is, and do my video call if I wanted. Plays music, which I really like that part of it, and podcasts. You can control your lights or your appliances. Adjust thermostats, lock and unlock your doors with these. And we had one person on a presentation earlier this year or late last year, I can't remember which one, that had a door that lock that was connected to her phone. So as she walked up to it, the door unlocked for her, which I thought was really ingenious. So they make all kinds of things out there today that you can use.
Karen, we have from our Damewood that yes, they have an app, but not using it, need training how to set it up.
Yeah.
That's it's getting that skill set that really keeps a lot of people from using the technology that can help them. There are a lot of training sessions that go on with specific devices, but I've also gone to YouTube and looked up the specific device and looked up the video to get the basics to do it if you're not going to, let's say, an AARP course on using technology in your home. So commercial.
Yeah, and actually I brought that to our national office. I started last year thinking that we should develop that, and I brought it to the attention of our the national director of livable communities, who said, "Oh, what a great idea! We'll have to put that in the hopper." So I decided that meant I maybe shouldn't develop it myself. But if it doesn't happen soon, I probably will, because that is a problem.
I will tell you that they have gotten way more. It's another one that you have the app, but don't know how to connect it to my home app. It's really good to go into YouTube videos because you can usually find somebody who isn't necessarily, they got it and they learned how to use it, so they made a video. Very simple, versus you may not need to know all the components of it to get it up and operating. The other thing is bring a 6-year-old into the house and they'll be able to set it up for you.
Yes.
Grandchildren are wonders when it comes to that. They're only 6 and 8, so a younger person can set it up way faster than I can do it. I know.
Yes. Isn't it amazing how it's just intuitive to that younger generation? Yes. So, and then there's also, as we'll cover here, there's smart home options for lighting. There's way back a long time ago, you might remember the clapper. You clap on and clap off a light. That was sort of the first smart home device, right? And then they had the lamps where you touch them, they turn on and off. They have timers a long time, motion activations for a long time. One thing so lighting is imperative in your home to help keep you safe. You should have good lighting in all areas of your home, on your stairs especially, and in hallways. And at night lights are a great idea, a very smart idea. Help keep you safe. A lot of times you can just get the motion activated ones so that they don't come on until you're actually up, start moving to head, because I don't know who doesn't use the bathroom at least once a night my age anymore. So and I learned from a person who attended one of the in-person classes a number of years ago. she said, I take my nightlight with me when I travel. And I was like, wow, what a great idea. I never thought about that, but it helps keep you safe when you're traveling too. All right, so we are going to look at the entryway. So someone talked about being worried that the doors wouldn't be wide enough. So, the gold standard for being able to get a wheelchair easily in and out of any doorway, whether it's the entrance or a bathroom door or a door to a bedroom, is 36 inches. And I can tell you that most typically built homes do not have 36-inch interior doors. A lot of exterior doors are 36 inches wide. If you have something built after the 80s, probably. But those interior doors, as my husband had both of his knees replaced, when he had the first one replaced, someone loaned us this kind of Cadillac of walkers, and it wouldn't fit through our bathroom door. So I had to go buy one of the basic walkers to put in the bathroom so he could transfer from the Cadillac walker to the basic walker to use in the bathroom. So you may, this is an idea that one of our HomeFit volunteers, who's an occupational therapist, like Diane, she has her own company and consults with clients. And this is out in Boston. These are two homes where both homes she used this decorative grab bar to make it safer for clients to get in and out of their homes. So out in Boston, older homes, very close together, very small front yards. So if you were to see the front view of this, you'd see that they have not quite walker steps, but something closer to walker steps that lead, like 5 or 6 of them, that lead up to the front doors. And there is also a step at least like 4 inches up into the house. So this was an alternative. Their clients didn't use wheeled mobility, but did feel some safety. They had some neuropathy in their feet. So this was helping make them safer getting in and out of the front door. And she said to me, when I first started doing this, because I put this in quite a few homes for clients who have some lower mobility issues, whether it's strength in their legs or neuropathy in their feet. She goes, and after the first client, I put it in, I came back about a month later to do another visit with them. And they said, everybody uses this. They go, we use it, but everybody, doesn't matter what age they are, they use this grip to grip when they go in or out of the house. So it's not just for you if you're having some of these issues, but it seems to be that everybody likes the idea of being a little safer getting in and out of the house. As you can see, these are not an eyesore. These are blend in pretty well, look very nice. So helping you get through the doors, if they are tight, getting a wheelchair or a walker through, there's something that might help you not have to put in a larger door, but utilize the entire door space. So if you were to open a door, a typical door, you would notice that about anywhere from about 1.5 inches to 3 inches of that door, depending on how thickness of your door, is taken up by the door itself. There's something called swing clear hinges, which actually make it so that the door itself will swing away and open up that entire space. So you can see here, this is an open door, or this is actually not a good view, but let's see if I can start this video or not, because this is the door that one of my volunteers built for me. So this is a smaller version. He first built a large version, and that was not going with me to events at all because I couldn't get in my car. But then it went along with the rubberized threshold mat. But then he built this one for me, and it shows you how the swing clear hinges, which you can see are attached there, how they work. So as this door opens, they swing completely clear of the door frame. And you'll notice that you need to have some room behind the door. If you have a wall right there, those swing clear hinges are not going to help you. But if you have some open space, they will help you open up that entire door frame area for to make it easier to get through.
And Karen, even if you have a wall on one side, you may need to look at the other side and flipping, just like you can do refrigerators or dryer doors. Sometimes the easier solution is to flip the swing of the door to an open space. Let's say this one opens to the left as you're facing it. You may have the space if you flipped it over to the right to open it. So sometimes you just have to look a little bit differently at what you've been using all the time. It might have another alternative that you'd have the space to use it. So.
Right. Okay, and we talked earlier actually about this, all these things, the peepholes, the video doorbells, the handles and locks. So you'll notice that on this door that my volunteer built, there is a lever handle. And that's what we show here on this door also. We already talked about the advantage of those. So I am going to turn it over to Diane, who's going to talk about entry spaces.
All righty. When I did my research for my dissertation, what I looked at was what works in the home. What do people want their home to say when you're redesigning it to live in it for a lifetime? And one of the most frequent responses when we asked the question, what features, what do you want your house to look like, was welcoming and safe and welcoming. And especially when we're talking about how you approach your house, how it's the main entryway into the house would be. So what we want to look at in terms of helping you make your house work for you is not only what it looks like or how it works if there's an issue, but how it works like we talk in terms of everyday use and universal design. And what you're going to see here is things that make your house organized and work well, especially if you don't have a front coat closet or someplace to put your things. But on the inside entryway door space, you can use your hallway or just the wall entering into the next room next door to put useful furniture. If you see here, there's a bench to sit down on. There's under bench storage, so maybe your favorite shoes go in there. The coat you wear most often for when your purse, your dog leash, which I just learned having a new puppy, your keys, and the storage unit you're seeing there. I actually have one of those, just flips up and down, and your shoes can be stored in there. And I've used it to store other things that I may need at the front door as well, hats, scarves, and those kind of things. So make your space work for you so that you're not piling things up or have your entryway not organized, because then in an emergency situation, and that's what we have to look at, if it's the middle of the night and there's a fire and you've got to get out, something that's in the way of the door, and it could be a pair of shoes, could be what stops you from getting out that door. Okay, our favorite place, the kitchen. The other thing about our research showed was that the kitchen is the hub of the home, that it's where most of the activities occur. It's a place where we want it to be the most safe and to work for all. So when we look at this, we talk about rethinking your space, your current space. What could make it easier for me to use this? We're used to having, at least here in the Midwest, we're used to having doors that lead to cabinets that are deep or up high, as you see here. We're not too used to, but it's getting to be more mainstream, is having big drawers for storage, which means that the work comes to you. If I need my pot and pan, it's coming out to me when I pull that door, that handle, and I'm not going to it. I'm not digging the back of the lower cabinet to get that pan out, because once I get it out, I've got something in my hand and I've got to come up to a standing position in the counter. So those are some of the simple things to look at. If you're not going to switch to drawers, we're going to talk in just a little bit about, you can put pull out shelving that will make your lower cabinetry work like a door. What we did here is you added onto or took out a cabinet and made a sit down table workspace area, where I might be able to reach into the pantry that's to the, as I'm facing the little table area, that pantry to the right, the door handle is right there. I might be able to pull out my, whatever I'm going to be working on, whatever I'm going to be cooking, utensils to the right, and prep everything there. Move it up to that counter where the bananas are and everything, slide it over, get over to where my stove or oven might be, or that might be right where I'm talking, where I'm speaking from. So all I have to do is put it on the counter and turn around. It's not lift and carry something across the room. You want to think, what are the tasks you do most often, and how will you benefit from redesigning and rethinking your kitchen space? Here's a very good creative solution. This woman had a temporary setback, temporary injury, where she was not going to be able to lift and carry things. And what she did, she added, as you can see, her card table to the end of the counter space, because carrying something over from that counter to where the regular table was very difficult. So as you can see, she's got a breakfast dish and cereal and her coffee mug there. She could slide it along the edge of that counter where the microwave is, put it down on the table, slide it over to where she will be sitting, go around and sit down. Never carried something hot 20 feet across the room. And it's very convenient. And now using the card table, if she had to use the regular dining table in the kitchen, people were visiting, bringing over dinner, let's say, she could move that aside if you want to. On another level is quite often we will add a regular kitchen table chair height lower counter. So if you look at the edge of this table where it butts up against the cabinetry, think about a shelving, a piece of shelving counter, mirroring what the countertop is where the microwave is sitting, bringing it down lower enough for one person to sit at, or two people, so that you can have a counter space where you can do that and have your meal right there, not the whole size of the table. Not a hard thing to do. You have the space to do it. Edges of counters can be used to add that space to. Simple solution. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what I started in terms of cabinets, shelvings, and drawers. Number one, you need to have lights where lights work for you. If you look under the cabinet here with the door that's open, if you look up, you'll see a little light there. There's what we call task lighting there, so that you have lighting right onto the surface that you're working from, so that you can see what you're doing. Overhead lighting in the kitchen is a very good idea to keep your tasks safe and good visual when you're working, especially at the stovetop. Lower level cabinetry we started to talk about, those are pull-out shelves. So you can see that they have a little hinge on the side of it, or a slider on the side of it. So the door opens, it's cosmetic, the door. You pull what is in that cabinet out to you. So you're bringing the work or the load to you. Same thing, putting it back, you're just going to slide it back in and close that door. They are add-on features, and they're used to be special order, and you can get them anywhere. You can order them on Amazon. You can go to a big box store, and they are not an expensive add-on. And here you have 3 different shelving units that come out to you, as opposed to you getting down on your knees to get something out of the deep cabinet. Open shelving, we're going to see in another picture that's coming up, but it's very in now to have open shelving, like where that light is on this particular cabinet. And with everything, what is that? They say everything that's old is new again. I remember my grandmother's kitchen had open shelving, and her coffee cups and things that she used frequently would be on those shelves. They're lower, you can reach them for everyday use, and they hang down from below the cabinets that you see here, or the whole unit can be open, so you don't have to, you can see what you're going to go after. Again, drawers for maximizing the use. While we're on this slide in particular, I want to bring attention that this is a 2-drawer oven as well. So for most of the things you bake, not the 20-pound turkey maybe, but are you really cooking that anymore? That's something to think about. The upper oven is usually a little bit smaller, but it will cook your 1 tray, everything, vegetable, chicken breast, dinner, your pizza, everything else that you would make, except for something that would be very tall, like a 20-pound turkey. The also feature that you'll see on here is controls at the front of the stove oven combo. And we don't want to reach over hot cooking items to turn on our controls or turn them off as well. The same concept with the refrigerator. Again, drawers versus doors. That drawer in the middle, freezer on the bottom, drawer above that can be, in some refrigerators, can even be switched between freezer or refrigerator, whatever you use the most, but most people use it as a refrigerator. And then you have your extra freezer on the one side, or 2 refrigerator doors, rather, on this particular unit as well. Handles and hardware. D-ring or bar type handles are the best. If you don't, we're talking getting away from something round where you have to close your fingers around something, because no matter what, it's a typical stage of aging, is that your joints become tighter and the hand strength changes. So if you're going to be opening a door or drawer, it's much easier to just use the tips of your fingers and pull it towards you. On an upper cabinet, it might be the opposite of that, a curved handle that's a D-ring, or a D, looks like a backwards D, same thing, that fingers with just not a teeny tiny button type hardware. And here's the good example that you can actually put your pots and pans in that top drawer. That's how deep that drawer is if you replace your cabinetry. So you bring somebody in to talk about it, say, hey, do I have the option of changing to 2 drawers and, you know, some narrower lid or spice storage or whatever it is on the bottom, or maybe 2 large drawers. I know in my son's home, all their pots and pans, all their bakeware and everything, it's able to be contained in 2 drawers. That's across from the stove, which is very cool and easy to get to. Same thing with faucets. This is a pull-out faucet where you can spray, and a lever handle, so that you don't have to do that same gripping. And Kohler, some other brands also make it where you use the back of your hand and it automatically goes on. You touch it, and then once you touch it again, it turns off, hot and cold to the right and left. You don't even have to use a grip. So if you're going to have to replace anything, and we do as our homes age, look at these items and say, oh, they were talking about that lever handle for this time. I'm going to get that instead of 2 separate. And it's not a big expense, but it's something that you'll actually wish you had done sooner than rather later. And here we go with some of those other examples we were talking about. So we talked about the doors and the drawers, the burners being controlled from the front, the other red arrow. And also what you're seeing to the far right, the next red arrow, is a drawer dishwasher. So you don't have to, bend that. And you may only have to use the top one. If it's just 2 of you or 3 of you in the home, you may not have dishes that you have to use the full dishwasher capacity. And I have a lot of homes that I've done that we only put in 1 drawer. We don't even, the second drawer isn't even necessary, because it takes care of the majority of their dishes. This also shows that open shelving we were talking about. One thing that's really important I want to get out is that, and maybe just by clicking on it, or show of hands, if people are on video, how many people have their microwave above their stovetop? And I can't see because I have mine on. Maybe leave your hand if you've got it above your stovetop. What we recommend is that you put it on your counter, because stovetop, above stovetop, the reach into the hot, into the microwave for the hot item is right at eye level, and a startle or lose the grip, hot item right into your face. Whereas if you look at where it is on the countertop or on an extra cart, it's down at waist level, and you have a counter in front of you. You can open up the drawer of the microwave, slide it out, close the drawer, slide it over. So it's a much better setup that it can be on your countertop. And one last thing, you can see that the recycle bin and garbage bin comes out to you. It's on a slider too. It's a rack that you see below. That slides right out when you pull the top of the container, bringing it to you and keeping it out of your way, keeping your garbage and your recycling containers out of the way. Okay, the bathroom. The big thing about the bathroom is creating it to be both convenient to you, but also safe. If you fall in a bathroom, it's a slippery and wet place, there's nothing forgiving in a bathroom. It's not carpeted. Even wood is more forgiving than the tile and the countertops and the sink faucet handles, the things that you might hit going down. toilets famous for taking out, creating a head injury. So when somebody falls on it. So you want to make sure that we make it safe, avoid the slips and falls, and add some extra safety features for when we're using toilets and tubs and showers in the bathroom, because we don't want to end up in the hospital. What we're going to show you right here are some low-cost safety devices that can be used instead of doing a complete redo of the bathroom. I have a bathroom that has a shower stall as opposed to a tub. And actually, I do have to replace it. I would prefer to put in what you see here, which is a no step, low lip, we call it, shower. So you're not stepping over that minimum 4-inch lip that you step into older showers with. These can be bought as a unit, like in a large box store. In some of the features that they have, you can take out a tub and pop in one of these units, and it makes for a no-step shower. What we have in this shower is a handheld shower that is on what we call positioning rod or positioning bar. But in this case, and you would ask for this if you're going to redo yours, that your shower head be on a positioning bar that is actually a grab bar, so that is actually inserted into studs that allow for it to be used as a grab bar, not as just a fixture that holds the shower head. It has a lever handle for the control of the hot and cold, and it has a bench. And the strips on that you see on there are no slips, so that you are pretty darn protected from slips and falls. Over to the left of
Diane,
yeah.
I'm not sure that it was clear that they also make these for the full tub shower combination. These inserts that can go in place of your tub shower combination.
Oh yeah, I was hoping that's what I said. Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, so you can take that the whole unit out and put in, or if you're going to keep your tub, we're going to be talking about how you can get in and out of it in the bottom slide there, or picture illustration. Getting on and off the toilet is a difficult task sometimes, especially Kara mentioned her husband having knee replacements. There's things that happen in life as we get to my aunt used to say, this end of the yardstick, that are just even temporary things, but getting on and off the toilet have to do with the fact that originally toilets were not made at that higher height that they are now, that you can get them standard as opposed to a special order. But in case, what you see to the left is over the toilet commode chair. It can be used as a shower chair as well. It can be used as a bedside commode. Put it over the toilet. That bucket that you see on the bottom comes off. What you end up with is an elevated seat, because it's over the top of a regular toilet, and those legs are adjustable, so as high as is necessary for you to keep your feet on the floor. And then you have bilateral handrails, basically, but arms to push off on to come out of the toilet. And it's something that allows you to hold on to sit down. So if you don't have a wall next to your toilet to install a grab bar, this could be a good solution. And then they're really inexpensive, and they're available online and even at your local drugstores now. If you can't put in a new toilet that's higher, one of the things that is another modification is below that. If you look at the bottom, it's highlighted in gray there. It's called an elevator. And what it does is it takes those extra inches, and it raises the toilet from the bottom up. Now, the thing to consult about before you would do that is your plumbing that leads into the house to the toilet, at that point, at that junction, has to be able to take that rise. So your plumber needs to, evaluate it for that and make sure that it can come up that many inches without it being a replumbed, because replumbing or moving the toilet to accommodate moving a toilet is an expensive undertaking. One thing this toilet also does show is what's on the side there is a bidet. It's a so that we don't, in Europe, use them all the time. Here we're not as used to them, but it allows you to cleanse yourself right there at the spot. And many people, it's an add-on feature. You can take off your toilet seat that you have on now, and this automatic device is attached onto it. Now, if you're going to keep your, maybe you want to keep your tub shower, or you're renting and you can't change out your tub to just a shower, what you're seeing here is a tub transfer bench. And it has 2 legs that fit inside the tub, 2 legs that fit outside the tub. And what you see on the bench itself are actually, like the shower commode chair, handles to grab onto to be able to sit down at the edge, hold onto that handle, back up to the bench, hold onto that handle and sit down on that external seat. Swing your legs over and slide, maybe using the other grab bar that you see next to the wall, without having to have stood, step over the tub, which is sometimes, some tubs can be up to 14, 17 inches tall, especially in the older homes. So you're not taking that 1 foot balance, to get over or out of the tub, especially when it's wet and slippery. These devices aren't expensive either. One of the things that you'll see here is that mark across the seat of the tub is actually a hollow space. It divides that seat that you sit on to get into the seat that's actually in the tub. And it's real important that you tuck the shower curtain between the spots. And in fact, they even make tub transfer bench shower curtains that have the slits in it so that it will tuck down into the space so that the least amount of water comes out on the floor. No, Karen has a story about her mom and her mom needing this bench. Go ahead, Karen, tell what your suggestion is, because I totally endorse it.
Actually, it was when my daughter broke her ankle.
Oh, it's your daughter, yeah.
You loaned us one of these. And so the first time, so I basically just cut the shower curtain liner and, told my daughter, when you get in there, you need to tuck it in the space and everything. And she, kind of did. But we had a big old flood that first time. So learn the lesson, but even when you do put it in there, you're going to get a little water on the floor most likely. So I always put towels down just to be safe. Mm-hmm. So,
especially if you're grabbing a shower, sitting down, it's a different way to do it. And you grab the shower control, and again, another hint for having us here basically is you can get a shower control that you actually control the flow as you're using it. So consider all those things when you're going out and saying, or looking online saying, I'm going to change out my bathroom. What did they say about that? And you'll see some of those features in the HomeFit guide as well.
My shower chair would work in my shower.
Okay. Bathroom grab bars or assist bars. Being safe in the bathroom is really, really important. But when you talk about universal design or inclusive design, which is my thing, I want it to look like it's supposed to look. It's not supposed to look like a hospital. It can look, we like the grab bars that you saw going into the home, our designer grab bars. You can put them in your bathroom as well as you could be at the entry of the home. These are all supposed to be grab bar types. I'll tell you what's the important part about it is the one that's a soap dish is a grab bar that can be fit in a shower or tub and allows you to grab at all different levels. If you're sitting on a bench, you can grab to the bottom of either side and help pull yourself up, maybe to cleanse your bottom. The right below is just a standard one that could be on the side wall or flipped vertically if you needed to, have a vertical grab bar. And the last one, sometimes they'll say it, people will hold on to something that is just a toilet paper holder. It needs to be designated, and you'll see it on the packaging that it is verified that it is a grab bar. Grab bars have to be installed with a backing, and that you need a professional to do that. Otherwise, you're going to pull it right out of the wall, especially in a situation where you lose your balance and your full weight goes back or forward or whatever. That's why they have to be installed with special backing so that they don't pull out. And sometimes you have to, well, I say all the time, make sure that whatever wall you're thinking of putting it in is a wall that a grab bar can be put in. Some older fiberglass type units that are bathtub and their walls are fiberglass. Sometimes shower units are all one piece that fit in. And there are certain ones that will crack if you drill the hole and you're going to try to put a grab bar in. So get an expert to tell you whether your particular bathroom how it can accommodate a grab bar. Grab bars at the toilet and grab bars in your shower or your bathtub area, really important for your safety. Okay, lighting and electrical. More as you can. I'm sitting in a room right now where I've got the blinds wide open. It's a gray day in Michigan, not as gray as we usually get, but it is still not a full sun day. But I have large windows, and leaving the blinds and drapes open affords me workspace that works for me. I'm not going to trip over something. But things that happen, we go bump in the night. It's something where you have a fire or an emergency, or they're calling an evacuation for, a natural disaster or something. You don't have power. Getting out is especially if you have an upstairs sleeping space and you have to go down a flight of stairs to get out that isn't lit. So using motion sensor lighting that is battery operated, using lighting that night lights that will are just on because it's dark, that turn on naturally because it's dark, are really important to light your way, even not a disaster type thing, but to light your way as you enter the bathroom in the evening. Most of us, I'll raise my hand, have to utilize the bathroom at night, and going in the dark and tripping is not a good idea. Remember, those bathrooms are not fun places to fall. So good lighting is really big safety feature. Well, the kind of lighting switch that you're looking at here is a rocker style switch. And, if you've got something in your hand, even you can turn on the light with an elbow or with the side of your arm, or just a flick of a finger or side of the hand. The little switches that we're used to, if they're older, like mine are, not so hard. I can use a flat hand to open it, but some of them have resistance. And the fine motor is in a hurry. You don't want to be messing around with trying to get the light on. So you could always, if it's set up and you do have power, you could always say, Alexa, turn on the light to the bathroom, which is a nice thing too. So remember that technology. Let's not be afraid of it, because it could help you. If you're on the floor, turn on the light, please. And glow in the dark light switches, best ever. They don't give off a lot of light, and you know where it is. You think you know where it is, but if you're feeling unwell or there's an emergency situation, that light switch could be miles away in your head, and it's not where you think it is. The light switch that glows is going to get you out of that room safely. Okay, hallways and stairways. We talked a little bit about the front hallway, but not, and keeping things from cluttering that, what we call an egress, escape route, or pathway of egress. So that egress being in and out of the house. And this is a really good illustration of the things I was talking about with safety. Fire in the middle of the night, or we got to evacuate, or whatever. If you look at this, you have overhead lighting over the staircase, directly over the staircase. The little circles on the side of the wall of the staircase are staircase lights as well. They could be motion detector or light sensitive. So as it gets dark, they will light up and give a glow, so at least you can see the staircase. The other thing that you have are bilateral handrails. Really important to look at. Most staircases do not have them on them. That the staircase with a bilateral rail provides for extra safety in either direction you're going, up or down, or using both sides to transport yourself up and down the stairs. Important thing here is that your railings extend from landing to landing. So at the very top, where you see the light switch at the very top, that's a landing. That railing on both sides goes to the landing or beyond, as it is on facing right here on the one that shares the wall with the entryway. It also, both of them go down beyond that last step. So you're holding on to something as you land on the solid surface of the landing at the top, the landing at the bottom, and then you can let go and you've got more space to move than at the edge of a stair. Contrasting edges on the top. So I want you to, if you have stairs in your home, or next time you're in to go to the top landing, hold on to the railing and just look down to the bottom landing. And in a few short seconds, that if they're not contrasting edges on the stairs, it becomes one whole piece. You lose the perception that there's individual stairs there. It'll look like a slide. They'll all be the same color. So adding some contrast is important. We had a question the last time we did this about carpeting, and you can put molding, you know, that like you do between doorways with carpeting on the stairs. But I asked a colleague that their specialty area is stairs, because I wasn't sure at the time if having the contrasting edging like you have, like you see here on both sides. So you have a runner up the middle and you have contrasting edging of the stair would work as well. And it's a good second. At least you have something that contrasts. And when you're looking even in this illustration, you see individual stairs. If that was all beige, it would be a beige blob. You know, so having something that contrasts, same thing with the railings, something that contrasts so that you can delineate out stairs from one another. If you look at this photo, you'll see that it has double back tape or that the sticky attachments to the back of the carpeting so that it doesn't move. Because we like to have our runners to pick up on some of the dirt that somebody's bringing in from outside in. But having it be able to be moved or tripped on is not a good idea either. So make sure that any throw rugs or runners that you have are attached or have the non-slip surfaces on the bottom. I think that's it on that. And if you have to go upstairs, we will take another second here. This is a good example of stairs that do not have contrasting edges, though it looks like you have a darker riser on the step and a lighter actual step. It's all the same color, but this person will be using a stair glide, so it doesn't really, it matters for everybody else in the house, but the stair glide is something that will bring you up and down safely. It lands on a landing at the bottom, it lands on the landing at the top. It is a good alternative, especially as Karen mentioned early on, for the people who have their bathroom upstairs and there's one bathroom in the house. You could still change out a sleep area downstairs, but what do you do about using the bathroom, especially if you don't have a half bath downstairs? You got to go up those stairs every time just to use the toilet. So using a stair glide is a good alternative. You want to make sure that you have a licensed professional evaluate for it and be the person you buy from and have it serviced by. Again, it has to be inspected. What it doesn't show here is it all folds up very compactly. If I was going to put it, leave it down on the first level, the footrest, as you can see, has hinges. It folds up, the seat folds up, the handrests fold up. So all this folds up flat against the wall, either up or down. And sometimes when you have this one that wraps around, it's to keep the seat down there because visually it tells you that that rail is there. When it's a straight shot, what people will do is leave the chair at the top and call it down when they need it. But again, check out, make sure that you do have somebody who's licensed for putting it into your home.
And I want to reiterate, getting lots of feedback, that these are available on the resale market, so
Definitely.
used, and you can find them a lot less expensive. And I know that when my father passed away, we had a kind of a quasi hospital bed that I donated to our assistive exchange technology closet, basically. And they actually had one of these somebody had donated. So, you know, keep your eyes open and look for less expensive than necessarily to buying the original brand new version.
Right, and you're in a larger city in Boise, and if you have a university hospital, a rehabilitation center, and can connect you up with people that are you know, either they also will have a loan closet or they will be able to connect people that are looking to buy and looking to sell. Okay, the laundry room. If you have a separate laundry room, what we're trying to do is show you some of the features that you can put wherever that is. Now, looking at the stair slide again, if you have, here in the Midwest, we have basements. And a lot of utility rooms are in the basement. Even if you moved your laundry up, your heating and cooling, all of the mechanicals of the house are in the basement. So if you had a pipe burst or some stop working, I got to go downstairs no matter what, before it comes up to the 12th stair and we're flooded out. So a basement lower level access is really important. So I might choose to get a stair glide. I have a bathroom on this level, maybe bedrooms on this level, but I can use it and leave it down in the basement and call it up. The other thing that's really good about in that type of situation is that laundry basket is on my lap as I'm riding up the stairs. I'm not trying to balance the laundry basket and the railing and whatever. But these are some of the features you'd look at to set up your laundry room, whatever level it's on. First thing I'm going to put out there is, do you really need the 55-pound load capacity washer and dryer anymore? If you have to replace an appliance, think about that. Some of the ones that they have out there now are really full-size washer and dryer stackable units, which brings everything up here. You pull from the top load and put it into the dryer, it comes out. Your laundry basket is sitting on top of that washer now, and you're emptying your dryer into the basket, and you carry it over to your folding table or off the kitchen and onto your kitchen table. So when you're replacing things, consider, what do I need to have? Because a stackable, if you look at these two side by sides, a stackable would fit in the space that you have to the left, which is the utility closet. And so you could put it, people do put it what we call point of use. So I have people that put the stackable washer and dryer in a linen closet, what was a linen closet, a larger linen closet in the hallway, or in a closet in a bedroom. And then when they take their clothes out, they're just putting them away. They're not carrying them to and from. So think about that if you have to look at redoing. But what you want to do is have everything that is easy for you to reach and not cluttered. So you have a laundry basket here that wheels over to the dryer. You empty it, you bring it over to the folding table. This hanging unit for drying clothes folds away, so you can have it out there if you have to do indoor drying. For a few items. Again, we're not washing for 5 children and 6 neighbors or whatever. And ideally, I would lower this in this drawing. I would lower it down so it's at your shoulder height to do it versus way up high. And your things that you need immediately are easily accessible. The broom, the mop are right. You're not digging through a closet for it. And your other units that you need, utility cleaning items that you need, are really easily accessible too. So it's just kind of a way, and they just used a regular table for a folding table. So just keep it simple. Oh, going back one more. In case you are going to use go back. It's coffee time. But if you are going to have the larger wash dryer, what they did is they put them on the stackable risers. So these are drawers that are below the washer, front load washer and dryer, and it raises it up. So you're not bending and taking your clothing in and out, and the controls are right there at the front.
All right, thank you so much, Diane.
You're welcome.
So here are a few resources for you, and please feel free to put any questions in the chat for us. We have, so there's AARP Livable Communities has lots of great information for you. That's just aarp.org/livable. The HomeFit guide, again, can be at aarp.org/homefit. You can order one or download it for yourself. There's our AARP Foundation has a great step-by-step guide called Here to Stay Home Upkeep for All. And then if you're looking for a consultation, from someone to come into your home and help you decide how to do things like what Diane can do. And you can go to the American Occupational Therapy Association to find someone near you. And then there's something called the Certified Aging in Place Specialist, which is CAPS. You'll hear them called CAPS for short. And that is a certification by the National Home Builders Association. You don't have to be a builder or a developer to actually take this training. Lots of people, including some occupational therapists, landscapers, realtors, all kinds of people take this. And really what they do, it's like a 2-day class on the most common solutions to the most common barriers. So they have some additional education in that regard. So we appreciate you joining us today, and we will take any questions that you have. And I do want to mention before we answer questions that I'm sure that Idaho, the AARP Idaho State Office is like Michigan. In Michigan, we have 8 to 10 virtual events happening every month. That's in addition to what our national office is doing. And you can find those, and you're welcome to, even though you're in Idaho, you're welcome to join in on any of those. Just to find those, you go to aarp.org/mi for Michigan and click on the virtual events link, and it'll take you to our virtual events page. And for example, last week we did one on how to build a standing raised garden bed. April 1st, we have a planning your spring and summer garden. And then in July, we have a planning your fall garden. So we have sort of a series. We have a diabetes series that's coming up, 5 parts every other week, beginning in early May. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, take a look at there. And I'm going to guess that Idaho probably has the same kind of thing. Go to their website, which would be aarp.org/ID. I think that's an abbreviation for Idaho. My guess is that they have something similar. All right, so what are some of these questions here?
Okay. Well, we have, if our doorway is not 36 inches, what options do we have for wheelchairs short of remodeling by a contractor? It depends on how close you are to, wheelchairs don't have to have 36 inches to go through. It depends on what your entry is to that door. If you're coming at a 90-degree angle, you have to turn right or turn left to go into that door off of a hallway. That's where you need more space, because the chair has to do its turning, just like a parking spot at Target. Angled parking is easier to get into than straight on. So what you have to do is look at a few things. The offset hinges is one. Also look at the frame of your door. And a lot of times the frame of the door will have inside molding on it, and that narrows the door as well. So people will take off the door, take off the molding, put up a curtain on a tension rod, and if they can make that turn, sometimes 24, 28 inches is all you need, because it depends on the size of the wheelchair. Like Karen was talking about the walker. Different walkers, different wheelchairs are different sizes. Now, if you're self-propelling, if you're the only one in the house and you have to roll it yourself, that's when you need that extra space. If you can move with your feet, or you can have someone use a transport chair, those are chairs that have just 4 larger casters, and they don't have that big self-propel wheel. That brings you down to sometimes 19 inches. So you want to look and see, can I narrow the chair out? If I can't do that, can I look at some different, it sounds kind of like opposite, but sometimes a motorized chair can do a spin and a turn in a narrower space than a manual chair can. They're much heavier, they're bigger, but they might be able to maneuver. The worst to make that turn is to use a scooter, because the scooter doesn't fold, and it's a longer front end. So look at your wheelchair width, find out from wheel to wheel, how big that is. And if I take off molding, sometimes I can leave the door on. So you just gotta kind of look at those things and say, what can I do? Widening it is, you're right, it's a contractor issue. And widening a door also has to take into consideration the floor, that once you widen the door, the floor that it was on is now exposed where it used to be wall. So it is much more complicated, but those are a couple things you can do.
All right, are there any other questions? Doesn't look like there's any other questions. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Diane. And thank you to NKA and AARP Idaho.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you, Karen. It's a great presentation. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
Okay.
Enjoy that